Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name's Amar and I'm an electric skateboarder and content creator based here in the UK. My goal for this channel is to be a resource for e-skaters through reviews, tutorials and ride videos. So if any of that is of interest to you, smash that subscribe button and join me on this journey. Now in today's video, I'm bringing you guys a very exciting electric skateboard. Certainly one which I'm personally very excited about because I've been waiting to receive this board for the best part of 6 or 7 months now. Eovan have been telling me that they've constantly been working on improving this board and they really wanted to ensure that it was as good as it could possibly be before they released it to the electric skateboarding market. So I'm personally very excited to see, what all the hype is about and what's taken them so long to release this board. I've seen some other videos of the Eovan Super and some posts on Reddit, and so far it does look extremely impressive. So without any further ado, I won't keep you guys waiting. Let's dive into the unboxing, and this video really is just going to be sort of showing you guys what you get inside the box when you purchase this board. It's not going to be so much an overview of the specs. It's certainly not going to be a review or a range test. Those videos are coming later. So if you do want to see ride footage of this board, then make sure you're subscribed because I've got those videos coming up soon. Let's get into this box. Alright guys, this is a proper heavy box, so I'm assuming it's the 2-in-1 version, but we'll soon find out. Let's get into it. Right, so this is a box in a box situation, which, as you guys will know, I'm a big fan of, because that means when this board is shipped all the way from China to the UK where I am, which is a very long distance, the actual board is very well protected. Eovan, your next performance board. I really hope it's going to be my next performance board. Okay, no more messing around. Let's just get this box open then. Get this cover out the way. Oh my God. That is red carbon fiber. Red carbon fiber. This board just looks immaculate. First impression, like the first impression, the first time I'm looking at it, incredible. Rubber wheels I can see here, but judging by the weight of the box, I'm gonna take a guess that there's actually an AT kit under here, but I guess we'll see. So let's get the board itself out of the way and we can take a look at what accessories come with it. It is a really heavy electric skateboard. I can tell that straight away, which is not a bad thing necessarily, just an observation. Okay, that's interesting. So I guess in the interest of keeping this packaging box as small as it can be, the front wheels actually come detached from the front trucks, which is really not a big deal. It will literally take you like less than a minute to put these on, and that's going to save you a few centimeters on the packaging. Probably saves them pennies in shipping costs as well. But anyway, this board looks amazing, but I'm going to set it down and we'll talk about it a little bit later. So these wheels, which come detached from the trucks when you unbox your board, are Eovan's 125mm RS street terrain wheels. And I'm not gonna lie, I cannot wait to test these wheels. As you can see, they're made of rubber quite clearly, and what that should mean is that they'll be incredibly grippy in all conditions really, and especially wet conditions. And also their size, 125mm, these wheels should gobble up a whole lot of bad terrain. And you can see on one side there's 1 row and the other side there's 2 rows of elliptical holes, and I'm not sure if you can see that. These are really going to help with that vibration dampening, but equally I think what's going to happen, if they're anything like the similar holes which you get on the boosted board 105s, which sadly are not sold anymore, but those were range killers because you'd sort of sacrifice comfort for less range. And I'm guessing it's going to be the same case with these wheels, but we will of course put that to the test. Let's put these to a side for a second and check out what else you get inside. Oh my God. There is a lot of accessories here. So first off, you get your user manual. Usually I wouldn't need this, but this is such an advanced electric skateboard that I'm probably not going to throw this away, and I'm going to need to look at this later. This board does actually feature a VESC speed controller, so there's a whole lot of customization that I'm guessing we're going to be able to do. But as I guessed when I was putting this box on the table, do actually have the pneumatic tire set coming with this board. So these are 155mm pneumatic tires. The rubber on them and the tire tread does look actually really interesting. It's not so rounded as you see on many electric skateboards. The actual tire tread, it's a lot wider and sort of flatter. So it'd be really interesting to see if we get more grip this way. And I've seen on the newer Cali NYC boards, the Cali XLR, the tires on that board actually look quite similar to this, and that's like the best of the best when it comes to AT electric skateboards. So really interesting. What I'm also noticing right off the bat is that this is a pneumatic tire. It's not a solid tire, which in my books is a big, big thumbs up, because that's really going to make for a very, very comfortable ride. The pain of having an occasional puncture now and then, in my opinion at least, is definitely worth it when you get to experience that enhanced level of comfort, which you can't experience when you're using solid tires. Also, the hubs on these tires are composed of metal, which is a very, very nice feature. I mean, it is of course going to add to the weight of the board, but honestly, it's not going to like affect your range or anything, because the battery on the board, as we'll talk about later, is just humongous. So quality components all around. And underneath this wheel, we have our gear, which once again is completely metal. Honestly, I'm really, really liking what I'm seeing from Eovan here. They're really not messing about when it comes to these components, you know, really upping their game, if you like. That's one pneumatic tire with a pulley underneath. Guessing there's going to be another pulley there. Yep, there we go. So that's a pulley inserted into the wheel. There's going to be another 2 AT wheels there, and a lot of extra belts. I'm not sure if Eovan are sending me this because I'm a reviewer, or whether everyone will get this in their boards, in their boxes, with their boards. I'm guessing that is the case. So we've got 6 spare belts. Guessing it's going to be 4 spare belts for the AT kit, and then 2 spare belts for the RS street kit. But that's the wheels out the way. Let's get into this charger. Wow, what a bulky charger. So the output here is 50.4 volts, 5 amps. It's a 4 amp max input. This is gonna allow for very, very fast and speedy charging. And with the size of the battery on this board, which is, give me a second, and with the 852 watt hour battery on this board, you really want a nice, bulky, fast charger like this with an inbuilt fan, which is gonna allow you to cut down those charging times and get back out there enjoying the board which you spent so much money on. So fast charger, metal charger, it's even branded, it's Eovan branded. You know, they're really not messing about when it comes to this stuff. One thing I do want to see actually is whether they've sent me a UK plug. Oh, they have. Fantastic. With some other boards which I've been sent from Chinese electric skateboard brands, it's been the US plug, but I've got the UK plug here, which is happy days for me. Next up, we've got this handle. And given that this is quite a heavy and bulky electric skateboard, this handle is going to be a really, really nice small addition that should hopefully make a big difference. And I'm guessing that this is going to attach straight onto either the front or the rear trucks of the board, probably the front trucks. And as we've come to expect now from Eovan, it's composed of metal. Really, really nice small additional feature which comes in the box. I don't think this comes with every single Eovan Super order, but if you place your order at some point during January, then you should hopefully receive this. And I will be publishing this video at some point in January, so make sure you purchase this board as quickly as you can. You also get a pump, Eovan branded as well. My God, how can they afford all this stuff? They're really, really going above and beyond here. And straight off the bat, if you've seen my Wowgo 82 review, you've seen that that board also comes with a pump. I'm not gonna lie, the pump which comes with that board is kind of terrible. It's clearly very, very cheap, but this pump straight away, I mean, it's even got a sort of insert at the end for the valve, where the valve sits in, so it's not sort of flapping around. It's composed of metal, as all of Eovan's accessories are. Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really impressed by little small features like this. And you can see the smile on my face, but yeah, well done on this stuff, Eovan. I'm really, really impressed by this. Right, next up, let's have a look at the T-tool. And once again, this isn't just any T-tool. Eovan have gone above and beyond with the T-tool. The sort of quality on this T-tool is really, really nice. You've got this sort of gunmetal finish, really nice and like tactile look to it. You've got this like grip. I mean, I'm not sure why I'm going into such specifics. It's only a T-tool at the end of the day. They'll do the same thing, but it's really nice to see quality like components, and it's nice to see brands like Eovan, you know, put that extra effort in. At the top, you've got your Allen key. Most T-tools do that these days, and it will just slot in back into there. And I wonder if it's collapsible. I don't think this one's actually collapsible, but in any case, really nice T-tool. What else do we have in the box? Of course, we've got our remote. First impressions, also looks fantastic. It also looks like it's going to be very ergonomic. Let me just put my hand positioning there. Yeah, that slips into the hand very, very nicely. Where is the charging port on this remote? Oh, there it is. That's a really, really nice thing, actually. I'm only saying it's nice because it's different from all other electric skateboard remotes which I've come across. The charging point is always like down at the bottom there. But with this remote, they've put it to a side. It's nice to change things up a bit sometimes and just have a different approach to other brands. The remote does have a screen. When I hook it up to the board later, I'll let you know what information it gives you. One thing I read about this remote in particular, which I'm a big fan of, is that you can turn on and off the board from the remote, which coming from X-Way, I've been spoiled by. So it's really, really nice to see that this feature is becoming standardized amongst all the newer electric skateboards. Let's put the remote away for a second, make sure there's nothing under there. What else do we get here? Get a few Eovan stickers. I'll be sure to put a couple of these on my helmet. And what I've felt down here, trying to guess what these rods are for. So we get 3 of these metal rods. If my hunch is correct, these will go at the back of the board to protect the motors, and they will form some sort of motor protection cover at the back of the board so that you can stand up the board without impacting, you know, the center of the motors. Actually, let's just check there's nothing else inside this box, and then we'll just move the whole box out of the way. Oh, we do actually have here 2 more belt guards or belt covers. My guess is that these are for when you've installed the all-terrain tires on the board. The final thing which you get inside the box is a whole array of screws, bearings. See, this is another example of, you know, where Eovan have gone above and beyond. I'm not sure what these are. I'll put it on the screen somewhere if I can figure out what these are. But this is another example of where Eovan have gone above and beyond. So whilst most electric skateboard brands won't even ship you any bearings as spare in the box, what Eovan have done is that they've shipped the bearings that you get in your wheel pulleys. So this bearing here, if the camera will focus, so that's the bearing that you get in your wheel pulley, and these do eventually go off. And when they do go off, they're a little bit more difficult to source than you know, your standard electric skateboard wheel bearing, because those are just normal bearings, whereas these RS bearings are a little bit different and more difficult to source. So what Eovan have gone ahead and done is that they've given you, you know, a handful actually of those bearings in the box as spares. So I really, really love what Eovan have done here in terms of offering their customers all of these extras in the box. I know that if I'd paid full price for this board, which full disclaimer, I haven't, this is for review, I would be incredibly chuffed with this unboxing experience and just opening it up and seeing all these small different goodies and looking forward to using them and, you know, just storing them to a side and knowing, for instance, that if I do snap a belt, I don't need to go and purchase belts from their website and then wait God knows how long to receive a replacement and be off the road. I know that I've got belts here ready to go. Let's just check there's absolutely nothing else left in this box. Doesn't seem like there is. Actually, there is. So of course we've got our charging cable for the remote, which is USB-C. Great stuff there. Not lagging behind the technology. And then we've got our hex key. So this is 3mm, and this is really just going to help you get in all the nooks and crannies around the board if you do need to tighten a belt or something, or if you need to take off the enclosure lid or something. And it looks like a quality tool. So fair play to you, Eovan, for that. But back to these motor rods, let's get that board back on this table. All right guys, so I've just made a small discovery. I was having a look at these belt guards at the back here of the board. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see this, but I was looking for essentially holes for these rods to come into, and there's nowhere really which they slot into. So I was thinking, could it be, and in fact it was, the other belt guard which comes with the board. So this belt guard is in fact the same width and sort of dimensions as the other belt guard. So it's not the case, like I said before, that one of these is for the sort of street setup and one of them is for the AT, because this will work for both AT and street clearly. But what this belt guard has is these 3 sort of holes at the top, pre-drilled holes, and it's got this sort of extension to the top of it. That's obviously where these 3 rods are going to slot into. So yeah, if you did want to have a bash guard to protect the motors, then you could certainly do that, and Eovan have given you that option in the box. It's not an additional extra like with some of the electric skateboards. it's there for you to use at the outset. So really, really nice. The one thing I'm questioning is why this was separate and why this isn't already pre-installed on the board. But I guess some people probably wouldn't want to use the bash guard. Just gives this sort of different look to the board. So maybe it's better just to have it cleaner than if somebody did want to use the rods and install the rods, have a bash guard kit, then they could take these two off and yeah, install this. But this board is going to fall off. So let me put it back and let's have a look at this board in a bit more detail. Now let's have a very quick whistle stop tour of this board. First off, starting with the deck, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big sucker for carbon fiber electric skateboards, especially because of my weight. I just find that they give you a lot more stability. This is of course a carbon fiber stiff deck, but it's not any old carbon fiber. For the first time, I've seen colored carbon fiber on an electric skateboard, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. So it's got a sort of like red tone to it, and it looks really good. And you've got this sort of like dope grip tape, so it's like cushioned grip tape, and it should offer a bit of vibration dampening and absorption during long rides, and also when you're going over questionable and undesirable terrain, it should give you that little bit extra comfort and more grip as well. I hear that the deck is flatter than on the previous Eovan boards, which I haven't had a chance to test the previous Eovan boards, so I'm not sure if they were uncomfortable or not, but we will of course in the range test have a feel of this deck and see how it feels under the feet. I can see that there is a very slight W concave which comes from one side along to the other, and there is definitely some sort of contour on the deck. It does sort of curve up at the edges here, and it is really, really wide. That's one thing that I've noticed straight away. It doesn't sort of like round in and turn in. It remains wide right the whole place where your foot positioning is. So whereas some other electric skateboards would start curving back in here to give you that sort of aesthetically pleasing look, this actually does also look really, really good. And they've kept it wide, and they've kept it like nice and thick and sharp actually, right until the edge. And what that hopefully is going to mean when I step on this board is that you can really get a very nice foot positioning on this board. Your foot's not going to be dangling off on either of these sides. You've got the Eovan branding, the Eovan logo at the middle here, and I just want to see actually whether this red carbon fiber stretches across the underside of the board too. And yes, indeed it does. So you've got the Eovan logo here, GTS Carbon Pro or Super as many people know it. You've got the heatsink just here, and then you've got your power button on the left side there, and you've also got your charge ports. Double Kingpin trucks on this board, of course Eovan branded as well. It'll be really interesting to see how these trucks perform with this skateboard in particular, because this is an incredibly high performing electric skateboard. Very, very fast. It packs a lot of juice, so it's going to be very, very sharp off the line and very fast. It'll be interesting to see if this setup is stable and, you know, what this sort of adjustability is like. As we discussed, 125mm RS rubber street wheels on this board. I cannot wait to test these street wheels. I've never before used rubber wheels on an electric skateboard. I've heard great things about the Onsra Black Calf 2 and also the previous Onsras and how good their rubber wheels are, but these rubber wheels look phenomenal, and the size of them as well. I'm really, really looking forward to testing. At the back here, something quite unique on electric skateboards, which is this sort of hump at the back. It's composed of rubber. It feels incredibly high quality. I'm going to hazard a guess that this is related to the VESC, or the electronic speed controller, which is installed on this board, rather than packing it inside the main battery compartment with the battery and with the BMS. I'm guessing with the size of this battery, which is humongous, they just didn't have the space to put the VESC inside the actual enclosure, so they've taken it out and they've put it here. So this is actually a VESC right at the back of the board. If I've made a mistake there, I will put it on the screen, but yeah, unique, doesn't really bother me, doesn't look bad, fits in, everything looks in order, so no complaints there. The battery, by the way, is using Panasonic cells in a 12S4P configuration, and Eovan say that these battery cells are fat battery cells. I'm guessing that that means they're 21700 cells rather than 18650, and that would make sense because the battery watt hour rating is massive. It's 852 watt hours, which is really a lot of watt hours. So I really cannot wait to undertake the range test and see how much a person of my weight, 100 kilograms, give or take, can manage out of the board like this. Let's move on to the back of the board here and have a look at these motors. So these are 6374 size motors, and they're rated at 170 kV. So massively powerful, and once again, a big step up from what you would expect on many other electric skateboards around this price range. So very, very impressive from Eovan here. They also appear to have, I'm not sure how to describe this, it's almost like a mini heatsink on top of the motors. It's got like this sort of black metallic cover on it. I'm not sure if this helps the motors with cooling when you're traveling at high speed, which by the way, the basic top speed of this board is 32 miles per hour, but you can adjust that and get up to 35 or 37 miles per hour if you change up the gear ratio. But let's get this board back upright and give my final thoughts on this unboxing. So all in, I'm incredibly impressed with the unboxing experience. I'm very, very impressed with the packaging, and then of course the amount of accessories and the quality especially of accessories which you get with this board. Of course, time will only tell how good these parts actually hold up and how good the board is to ride, but for this video at least, I'm very, very impressed. The board does look fantastic. I really, really love the attention to detail. I love how beautiful the carbon fiber looks. Just everything looks incredibly refined. I can see why Eovan took so long to ship me this board, and you know, I'm not complaining. You'd rather a brand took its time and made sure that it got everything right than, you know, it rushed and then somebody had a horrible accident and ended up really hurting themselves. So yeah, I'm really, really impressed with this board. If you haven't gathered by now already, I've said it like 3 or 4 times. And yeah, I hope this video has been informative or entertaining in some way to you guys watching at home. And if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps to get this video out to new eyes and to new viewers. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm focused on this channel on producing very, very high quality videos on electric skateboards, reviews, range tests, ride videos, all that sort of stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.